Drums, for all that they make an impressive noise, are essentially simple musical instruments. Just a barrel of something, metal or plastic or wood, and a skin stretched over the top, and when you hit the skin it vibrates the air inside and makes a booming sound. So you get the jungle drum sound. Well, hard to make one as good as that, but you can get a piece of PVC tubing, stick a piece of cardboard over the end and hit it. And you get a good, solid, meaty drum sound. But that's not the only sort of drum you can make. You can hit them on the side too. And these are just made of wood. Hard wood, and they make a pleasant hollow sound. And drummers use wood blocks in bands today. And an African tongue drum was a huge wood block. You hit it on the side and it made a booming sound. This one isn't, because it hasn't been treated. Here's how you treat it. You won't be able to work on a large tree trunk. I don't think you'll be able to find one. Anyway, it's too hard. But PVC piping is just the stuff. And if you can't get PVC piping that's big by being fat like that, go for stuff which is big by being long, like that. Short bits don't work too well. I'm going to use them because I haven't got much space. But go for a long bit. See if you can get a plumber who's got some offcuts for you. Well, PVC is really just hard plastic, and it can be easily cut. If you're desperate, a hacksaw blade will do it, but it's best to try for one of these things, a keyhole saw. You'll notice that that's got a sharp point which can easily get into holes, and yet the blade is fairly thick, so it cuts quite a wide groove. And both of those are things you're going to need. Well, turn the pipe around, and I've already done it. You draw 4 holes and drill them out, like that. 2 there, and in line with them, 2 here. Use a bit that leaves a large enough hole for your saw blade to get into, and that's another reason for this particular sort of saw blade. It gets into holes like that very easily. The hacksaw blade has to be forced in, and it's not so good to work with. When you've done that, join those 2 and those 2. It's quite easy. Be careful of your fingers. It's quite a safe saw to use. Keep your fingers away and just keep cutting. You'll find with the keyhole saw it cuts remarkably easily. You don't even need the handle if you can't afford that. The blade will do. When you've finished, that down there and that down there cuts a ribbon, and it looks like that. And that would do as a tongue drum. If I hit it, you'll hear a sort of pocking sound. We can do even better than that by splitting it across there with a keyhole saw. Makes a long tongue and a short tongue. We should get different notes. Cut it across there, and that's the finished product. Now, I said these are short, they won't make much of a sound, but you can vary that by covering the ends. Here we are. If I cover the end with a piece of cardboard, cut to fit, here's one end covered. A bit of difference. Cover the other end, and a bit more difference. Not very good, because we haven't gone to the long tube. Here it is. I've made 3 tongues there, cut a hole there to let the sound out, and covered one end and left the other one open. And that's quite a respectable tongue drum. And if I'd gone to the wider tube, I would have got more of a booming sound, like this. In this case, one end's covered, like that. The other one's covered with a hole cut in it. Experimentation's a great thing with tongue drums. Well, you won't be able to get a beater like that unless you know a drummer, so the next best thing is to grab a cork and jam it on a stick, or, in this case, a piece of metal. And that makes a nice heavy beater, which is fairly soft to the touch, and you've got a tongue drum.
I want to know. Curiosity.